All right, what is going on? Welcome to another episode of It's Nothing Personal, Just Buffalo. I'm your host, JTM. I got my co host in the building with me, James Mallory, former NFL running back James Mallory. And man, the season is upon us. We are less than 5 days, less than 5 days away, pretty much 5 days. And before the Bills hit New York to play the New York Jets. And it seems like now our traditional week one matchup versus your Jets. This is like year like three in a row almost. They were damn near a 3 out of 4, right?
Yeah, because last year we had the Rams game one.
Yeah, and then the years before that it was like the Jets. I think, right?
Really? Okay, I didn't pay that
I
no
think so.
attention.
I think it was either 3 out of 4 or 2 out of 4. But I know it got to a point where we're playing the Jets week one every single year. It felt like so. Obviously, some lazy NFL schedule makers there, but no, man. We had a good lineup tonight. Tonight we're going to be talking about Gabe Davis specifically. We wanted to break down what our expectations are from him this season. We'll give a projection on stats. Obviously, he was named the captain last week, which was cut a lot of people off guard, and that brought up the question from me and James of, hey, could there possibly be extension in the works here, right? Um, so we'll talk about that tonight. We'll talk about Terrell Bernard and Christian Benford both being named starters today. Not going to get too much on Cyrus Torrance. I think we talked about that before. We saw that one coming.
Yeah, I think we all seen that one coming. I don't
Yeah.
think we expect anything else.
No, not going to dabble on that too much. Then we'll talk about obviously who has the more pressure going into this week one matchup, Josh Allen or Aaron Rodgers. Will Sauce Gardner shadow Stephon Diggs all game, and we're gonna talk about the impact of the Cook brothers and who may have the bigger impact in this game. But let's get it started. Let me remind you guys this is brought to you by Checkers. So, first topic of the night: expectations for Gabe Davis, a guy who was recently named the captain. Everybody was expecting a breakout type season for Gabe last year. Very underwhelming for some. For me, as like kind of on par for who he is as a player. But obviously, hot topic. His contract's up after this year. He's number two, clear cut number two on this roster, and a guy that they're going to need to perform at a very high level to get to their goal of winning the Super Bowl. So James, I'm going to come to you on this one. Gabe Davis expectations. This is year 4, right?
Yes.
Obviously, we thought it was a seesaw year last year, just a little bit. What are you expecting from the fourth-year receiver and now actual captain?
My expectations is over a 1,000-yard season. 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns. That's what I'm predicting right there. 8 to 10 touchdowns, 1,000 yards. Anything over 1,000 yards is golden for us.
Mm.
I think he'll have a really big year. I think he's going to force teams to really pay attention and game plan for him. I mean, we all know Stephon Diggs is that dude. We know he's the number one, clear cut number one, right?
Mm.
But that number 2 spot, I think Gabe Davis is really going to dig his heels in that spot. And I think he's going to have a really big year to set himself up for a huge payday. What you thinking, JT?
So I'm thinking I think you're going to see the best version of Gabe Davis that we've seen this year. I'm with you. I think he's going to have over 1,000 yards. I don't see this offense being any more less pass heavy than it's been the past couple seasons.
Mhm.
I think the biggest thing that we want to see from Gabe this year is we got to clean up the drops. I was running his numbers today and just looking to see where he struggled at. And you know what? Which actually may surprise some people, he struggled the most in the 0 to 9 yard radius. Okay, and that's honestly where he had 20% of his drops was in 0 to 9. So I don't know if his concentration trying to get the gates too fast, but he struggled in that part of the field. And I think that if he can clean that aspect of his game up, I think he'd be a lock to get 1,000 yards
Yeah.
because that's where you make
I
your
mean,
money
look at
at.
last year. He was knocking on the door at 1,000 last year, right? With a bum
Yeah,
ankle.
yeah. He knocked. I think he ended with like 748 or something like. It may have been 800. Let Let me look that up real quick. I want to give a false stat there.
Yeah, I think he was over 800.
I think he was. Yeah, he 835 last year on 40. The problem is it's only 48 receptions. That was tied for 52nd in the league. So, but obviously with the 7 touchdowns, that's 12, and then the targets he had 93, which is 36, which I think that's kind of the range you would like him to be in. So, I don't know, man. I think that this is going to be the best version of Gabe Davis. Obviously, if he wants to get that big payday, whether it's Buffalo or somewhere else, he's going to have to come in, show up, and show out. But I think, like I said before, if we clean up the 0 to 10 yardage catches, concentration, and I think Ken Dorsey alluded to the other week that the intermediate game is really where they want to see Gabe thrive and get him more involved. So I'm expecting more bubble screens, more slants, more down and outs. Obviously, we know we love to see Gabe's on the streak and post, but I think that this season we're going to see a little bit different variation from him.
I couldn't agree more, man. I think we're gonna definitely see him really expand his game this year. I think he's gonna take off because he's ready to get paid. And let's be real here, he should. He deserves it.
And that brings me to the next question: do you feel that the Bills should lock up Gabe Davis long term, if possible?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
And the reason being because that money can be allocated somewhere else. And I'm saying this, JT, receipts, man. Saying this now. I'm on my JT stuff today. I think that after the season, the Bills win the Super Bowl, Stephon Diggs is going to win another payday. He's going to want to come back to the round table.
Okay.
The Bills don't win the Super Bowl, I think he's going to potentially be a headache, especially if we go out like we did last year. Unless he's injured, God forbid he's injured or something like that, I think it going to offseason quiet. I don't think it'd be something there. But I think we can draft someone instead of paying 2 receivers. I think we could draft someone. I think we got people on the roster who have the field. I think you can maybe sign someone else at a cheaper price. I think he's going to get paid, man. I think somebody's going to pay Gabe Davis. If the price is right, cool. But otherwise, I'm going to say no.
So, I'm going to have to agree with you here. And the reason I say it is because, like I said, I think that Stephon Diggs is locked in for at least the next 2 years. Past this season, I think he's locked in contractually. I don't think that the Bills can really make a move, nor can he really make a move. With that being said, I think it's too hard to try to pay 2 receivers in this NFL with the salary cap, especially with the money that we got allocated to defensive line, because we cannot forget, now that we paid Ed Oliver, you still got Greg Rousseau coming up.
Yep.
Okay? Now, mind you, he'll come up around the time when Von Miller is coming off, but still, he still has to come up. You've already paid Dawson Knox. If Dalton Kincaid's the guy, we think you're going to have to allocate that money. So, at some point, and I know Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott are huge on paying their own and retain their own draft picks. But I would bring in the question, if you retain Dawson Knox and you retain Gabe Davis and you chose not to retain Tremaine Edmonds, I would really have to question that. So with the receiver market as crazy it is right now, and mind you, he's going into a year of free agency where Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase are pretty much on the verge of resetting the market that was just reset by Tyreek Hill of the year and Devontae Adams. So, potentially, if Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson become the highest paid receivers in the league, you're probably talking about north of $30 million, maybe $33 million a year. So if Gabe Davis is, which I think he's a bona fide number 2 receiver.
Absolutely.
Remember I said this. I've said this multiple times before. To me, there's a big difference between a 1B receiver and a number 2. I look at Jalen Waddle and guys like Devontae Smith as 1Bs. I look at Gabe Davis as a bona fide number 2. Meaning, if there was something to happen to Stephon Diggs and he was not in this lineup, I do not expect Gabe Davis to be that guy out there getting the 10 catches for 105 yards. Just being completely honest.
So, he's not. And when you look at it, man, I'm thinking he's probably going to get around 15 on the open market.
You think?
Right.
And that could be light. That could be
Yeah,
light.
I think he's gonna get around 15.
Mm.
You know what I still think gonna happen, JT?
What do you think?
I think D Hop is gonna play a season there.
Mm.
I think D Hop is gonna be here next year. I think he's gonna be on the opposite side of Stephon Diggs next year. Even though he signed that 2-year deal, Tennessee not gonna keep him for that too. If they struggle this year, they're gonna let him go. And I think D Hop is gonna end up here in Buffalo. I think he'll be here next year.
I can see that. Like I said, I can definitely see it. It wouldn't surprise me at all. So it's gonna be very interesting to see what happens with Gabe Davis. Let me ask you this question: do you think that naming him a captain was possibly? Do you think naming him a captain had anything to do with contractual negotiations?
No, I think it had to do with his offseason and how he approached it. With it being the contract year, and how he approached everything.
Mm.
So I think if I gotta guess, I got a feeling he turned it up this offseason. His teammates voted him as a captain because they seen that change in him. He focused, he's locked in, he knows the payday coming. He's not stupid. He's a lot more comfortable. He's certified now. People know he can play. People respect him. He was a full-time legitimate number 2 last year, not splitting time with anybody. Because remember before we had Emmanuel Sanders, right? So he kind of was like, is he the 2? Is Gabe the 2? Who's the 2 here, right? So last year was his first year being a full-time number 2 receiver, right? I think he came through, especially with being injured. Then after that, you have a full offseason, and then you prepping. You the guy to be the number 2 receiver, and this is a contract year. So I think it was more the approach. I don't think it had nothing to do with the contract. I think it was his approach and how he went about things that helped his peers vote him as captain.
Any worry with him being represented by Rock Nation when it comes to this contract?
They ain't
Obviously,
taking no shorts. They ain't taking
and
no shorts.
And obviously, Rock Nation also represents Boogie Basham, who the Bills just traded. So, Jair Alexander, Andrew Thomas, I believe both of those guys got paid. Bradley Chubb is another client, guy that just got paid. So when you say they're not taking those shorts, yeah, I think you're onto something right there. I don't think that they're looking to.
They're gonna offer him a contract, but they're gonna offer him a contract. He won't stay though, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Would be nice. Hey, I wouldn't mind if we kept him at a good price, but I think he's gonna play so well. He's gonna price himself out. Unfortunately, well,
yeah,
good and bad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, we'll see what happens, but obviously that's not the only news in Buffalo. Moving on to our next topic. Oops, I gotta fix that one. Actually, yes, moving on to the next topic. Obviously, you guys have heard Christian Benford and Terrell Bernard were named starters on Sean McDermott's defense. So a little bit of a surprise, I think, for me as far as Benford goes. As far as I thought, obviously I did know that. Obviously, I realized that Bernard was probably going to start. I said the other week on the show that Tyrell Dodson may be the first person that I've ever seen lose their job to someone else by not even playing a snap.
It's almost equivalent to Friday. He got fired on his day off, right?
Yeah,
but kind of like somebody got hired on your day on.
Right. I mean, that's just, when you really think about that, that's kind of crazy. That is crazy to lose your job to somebody who didn't play not one damn snap in the preseason. That means you played horrible. And then he turned around and changed his jersey number. I don't know if you saw that this week. He changed his number back to 25. It wasn't
his college number.
I don't know if he think that's going to make him play better, but he should have done that like 3 weeks ago.
Agree.
And honestly, with Christian Kirksey coming on the roster, I think you said in our group chat earlier, you think he may be a week 4 release once Kirksey ready to go.
No, you know what I'm looking for is we're gonna need to cut somebody down for Von Miller. I think Dotson's that guy.
I believe it.
I think he could be that guy. You make another move potentially, that maybe on the line, D line. But I think Dotson is going to be gone. I think you'll sign Kirksey to the active roster. But I think he's gone.
Well, the thing is too, our guy Mike back. He's been saying since last summer that Terrell Bernard was the guy. All summer he said Bernard was the guy, and
Yeah,
I think
I
I
wasn't
said
hearing it, but
I mean me neither. And I think I said on the show of the week, like, listen, the way McDermott was talking, this is before Bernard pulled the hamstring. It seemed like he was gearing up to give Terrell Bernard this job. Lo and behold, Terrell Dotson plays extremely terribly. And Terrell Bernard is going to be our starter week 1, who had, like I said, once again, repeat, didn't take not one snap in one preseason game.
and won the job.
And won the job. And won the job. So,
yeah,
like,
I think like you said, congratulations. I know you gonna say congratulations to him, Dotson. That ain't a good look, brother.
No, it's not. It's not. Man, that's just crazy to me. But no, I think. Do you think this was the right call going with Terrell Bernard? And obviously, we have Christian Kirksey sitting in the wings. We have a veteran.
Yeah, let's see what he got, because Dotson was so bad in the preseason that it's like you got to. I think this was a no-brainer.
I said before. I think I said the other week. Man, they ran an off-tackle run between the right guard and right tackle. And this dude shot the gap between the left tackle and left guard and chased the play down behind. At that very moment, I knew I was done. That was it. I was out. There was no tickets on the Dodson train for me after that.
Hey, so did you post the receipts how you called Kirksey a week before it happened?
No, I never posted it. I actually asked for Kirksey twice. That's how bad Dotson was playing.
Yep.
I asked him to trade for him. I asked him to trade for Kirksey twice. Hell, to be honest with you, I would have took a 51-year-old Sam Coward.
Ooh.
On one leg over how bad Terrell Dotson was playing. You could give me a retired Kawika Mitchell, retired John Hollichek. I don't know, you give me anybody other than what Terrell Dotson was doing.
What started creeping my head was, will Luke Kuechly come back for a year? That started creeping my head for a minute.
I think we talked about that last year as a possibility.
Yeah, but I think he just done.
Yeah, we won't need no more head injuries, man. But no, like, congratulations to Terrell Bernard. I think that this is absolutely the right move, especially with having Christian Kirksey on the practice squad. If it's not going to work out, if he's not getting it, then you have a veteran waiting in the wings, and it gives Kirksey a couple weeks to get to speed with the defense. But on the other end, your guy, and I'm gonna specifically say your guy, because you've been banging on this table about Christian Benford since actually in the last season, but all summer. And I want you to explain why you knew that Christian Benford was going to get the job and why you felt like he deserved it over the first-round pick, Kyrie Elam.
I said it last year in camp. I felt Benford was going to be the better pro than Elam. But that does not mean Elam is not going to be a great football player. I think he's going to be a stud. I honestly think both of them are going to be studs. I think we hit on both those picks. Now, somebody I know that's a really, really respected defensive back trainer in the country. I spoke to him about Benford after the Bills drafted him, before it was even a camp last year. He told me specifically, Benford is a dog. Exact words. Benford is a dog. If Benford went to a bigger school, Christian Benford would have been a first-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what I was told, and I said it last year. We got receipts. We keep our receipts. Benford is a baller. I don't think Elam lost his job. I think Benford is that good of a football player, right, to where he beat him out. And it's like, if you got a good first-round pick, but you got a sixth-round pick who's a stud, you got to steal. I don't think the Bills lost in that draft. I personally don't. And then in this league, you got to have multiple good corners. You have to, because God forbid somebody tweak a hammy, sprain the ankle, hurt a shoulder, whatever. I feel comfortable with 4 of our corners on the outside playing. Dane Jackson, Christian Benford, obviously Trey, and then Elam. I'm comfortable with any of them starting the game with any of them. And I wholeheartedly mean that.
Let me ask you this. Do you think Buffalo has the deepest secondary in the NFL right now?
I think it's a very, very good debate. I think it is.
Yeah,
Benford was, or Elam. I guarantee you, Elam will start on more than half the teams in the NFL.
I believe it. Like I said, I don't think this was a knock to Kyrie Elam. Like I said, I would preferably would have want to see Elam play just because I said before. I feel like Kyrie gives you. I feel like Kyrie gives you a little bit different feel as far as athleticism goes than Christian Benford and what Dane Jackson gives you. But at the same time, I don't think you go wrong with either. I think I'm also on record for saying that. Listen, in the future, we may need to move away from Teron Johnson as Trey White gets older and move Trey into the slot and get both of these guys on the boundary. I think that ultimately that should be the goal is to get both of these guys on the football field, no matter how you may have to do it.
Yeah.
So
I think you may see some of that this year. I think you may see a lot of different packages where these guys are on the field. You never know. And then with McDermott calling the defense now, I think we want to see a lot of things that we're not used to seeing over the last few years. I'm excited about it because I think we got some dudes that can play. I think, like I said, Elam is going to be a baller. He's going to be a baller. He's going to be good. And it's going when it click for him. The first thing fans are going to say is, "Oh, he should have been playing." But some people take a little bit longer to adjust. And don't forget, he's used to playing man coverage, chase. He's just, hey, I'm stuck on him. I got this guy. He's not playing that now. So it's a little bit different scheme that he's getting used to as well. Especially learning that at the NFL level, it's a lot more difficult than what people think.
Yeah. And like I said, Benford had his struggles last year too. I mean, don't get me wrong. Benford wasn't exactly locked down himself. So I think there's going to be room. They're both going to play. And I think that depending on the matchup and who we're playing, you may see Elam in there certain games. Like, think about it. Since Leslie Frazier, Sean McDermott been here, our number 2 cornerback spot has always been a rotating spot position. Period.
Yeah.
So I think depending on the matchup, you're gonna see Elam play some games too. So I other than that, like I said, I think Christian Benford is a solid fit there. I think that you can't go wrong with either one of those guys. They're both bigger corners. They're both physical. They're different than what Trey White is at this point in time. So I think they both
and that's a good thing to have a mixture. Your room don't all look the same. Now you go Benford and Kyrie Elam are bigger cornerbacks who can run, right? Trey is obviously your all-pro. And then Dane Jackson is more of the cerebral guy. He really think it through. He's going to be in the right place at the right time. Right. He's not going to make a lot of mistakes. So your room looks very different. You can go at a lot of different things. Very versatile, and I'm very excited about that.
Well, one of the things that when you talk about the teams that we're going to be facing, the Miamis, the Jets, the Ravens, the Bengals, the Chiefs, all those guys that we think that we're going to run into down the line here. You're going to need 3 to 4 cornerbacks. Hell, 5 cornerbacks to go get some of those teams.
Easy. So, and that's where Benford against the Bengals. You want to get somebody get up in their face and press. Benford's your guy. You got to mix it up. Or not Benford. I mean Elam. Elam is your guy. That's his game. You need somebody T. Higgins line up with him and get right in his face. Guess who's your guy? A 6'1" dude that can run. Elam. That's your guy. And you can mix it up on him now.
And that's why I keep saying, like, at some point you have to play Trey White in the slot a little bit this year. I think you got to give it a shot, because when you play those type of teams, you need your best cover corners on the field at all times, and you need to be physical. When you talking about if we meet up with the Kansas City Chiefs, who guards Travis Kelce? Well, Guess what? Maybe this is the game that Kyrie Elam comes in there. So.
I think we got the ability to mix it up, and that's gonna make us dangerous. Because before with these teams, it's like they knew what they expect with Buffalo. They knew what they expect, JT. Now it's like, okay, y'all want to go 3 wide or 4 wides? Okay, we're gonna put Elam out there. Elam, you jamming. Benford, you gonna get busy with him. You 6'1", you can roll too. You already know what Trey Day can do. So I love what they got. I love what we got.
I know last year you had some concerns overall about the athleticism and just overall the defensive speed on this roster, and offense too. We the offense had concerns too about the speed on offense. what are your feelings right now with our athleticism and our ability to match up with Bernard and Benford and our safeties behind there? What was your overall thoughts on that now or feeling?
I think we're more athletic than we've been in a long time. I
Mm-hmm.
think, well, Edmonds, that dude was a freak of nature, right? But when you look at a Benford, when you look at a healthy Trey White, right? These guys can all run. You're looking at a healthy Jordan Poyer, a healthy Micah Hyde, right? Those are smart guys. They're not the speed demons, right? But these guys can play. Obviously, they're elite combo. But then I think that cornerback room, the athleticism in that cornerback room has completely flipped. So when it comes down to a faster team, I don't think we gotta lose sleep over what Miami gonna be able to do with their speed now, right? I mean, obviously you're gonna respect it and them dudes can fly, but at the same time, it's like, all right, we got some dudes that can run too. So I think we'll be a lot more confident.
I have to agree with you there. I did definitely agree with you there. As far as me, like I said, I think this is the most athletic team that we've had on both either side of the ball in the Sean McDermott era.
Yeah.
I don't say that lightly because I felt like we never had multiple guys on our offense who could make a play and it could be six. Any
Yeah,
point in
and my
time.
bad, I ain't get to the offense, but I agree with you. I agree
Yeah.
with you, JT.
And then
Offensively,
on
I
the
just wanted to talk about how I felt about the defense can run now.
in the defense, I think like I said, I don't know if Leslie Frazier played the bend but don't break defense because we didn't have the athletes or the horses with the horsepower behind it, to be able to match up or play a little bit more aggressive. But I think with this defense now too, the ability to match up is there, the ability to track down the ball is there, just the overall ability to make plays and cause havoc and cause turnovers, especially including this healthy defensive line, is there more than ever it's ever been. It's not going to be necessarily an opportunistic just type of defense for turnovers. It's going to be an attacking defense. And we're going to force some, and I think
Yeah.
you have the players now to make that happen. But
Yeah.
moving on, I'm
Offensively,
sorry.
think
Go ahead.
about just name two names: Shreefield and Hardy.
Yeah,
Those two alone, you could throw them the ball, you could throw them a hitch, and they're gonna get busy. That changed the game right there. Those
yeah,
two alone.
yeah. James Cook. You
Oh,
switch, you switch, you switch out Devin Singletary and Zach Moss for James Cook. You switch out, and now you get Shakir and they're more involved. You switch out Cole Beasley, John Brown, or whoever else you have, Hardy and Sherfield. Yeah, it's a big difference. And then you switch out. Well, you move Quentin Morris back to third tight end. You put Dalton Kincaid. Huge difference. Huge difference. But speaking of the offense, right? Obviously, we have this huge Monday night matchup. Josh Allen taking on the Hall of Famer. Some would call the GOAT in their worlds, Aaron Rodgers. Monday Night Football in New York, Aaron Rodgers' first game at the Jets. I got to ask this question. Who do you feel has more pressure on them for not only this game, but the entirety of the 2023-2024 NFL season? Is it Josh Allen or Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers. Because they lose, the first thing they're gonna say is, "Oh, the same old Jets." Right? If we lose, all right, we can bounce back. It's a lot of pressure on the Jets. They spent all this money on Aaron Rodgers. They made all these trades to make him happy. They make him comfortable. With the Bills, we lose this game, we go run off three in a row. I don't think anybody remembers that we lost to the Jets week 1 by week 5 if that happens, right? With the Jets, this is gonna be like, oh shoot, is this another dud trade, right? So I think it's definitely is going to be Aaron Rodgers for sure.
So I wrestled in my mind with this one. And obviously I know Josh Allen, everything from this point on is pretty much Super Bowl bust. Right? The questions are coming up about the big games. Games versus the Bengals and things and such like that. Obviously, we had the game versus the Chiefs a couple years ago that he played phenomenal, damn near perfect, and we still ended up taking an L. then I'm like, all right, well, obviously there's gonna be questions surrounding Sean McDermott and his hot seat, if there's a hot seat, right? Just overall, there's a lot of pressure and a lot of weight on Josh. And then he had the relationship with Stephon Diggs in the offseason, right? And then I took my thought process over to the Jets and Aaron Rodgers. I said, well, let me survey this. They're not just asking Aaron Rodgers to take a team who was pretty much like a six win team last year, right? 7-win team, to just the playoffs. It'd be different. I remember those years in Buffalo where we just looking for Drew Bledsoe or somebody just to take us to the playoffs.
Yep.
That was a big difference. They're asking Aaron Rodgers to take a team who were not in the NFL playoffs last year, or probably not even close to making it, all the way to the Super Bowl. A team that we've never even thought could possibly even make the Super Bowl in the last 40 years. A franchise, just to say, not a team, but a franchise. I think undoubtedly the pressure's on Aaron Rodgers. And I think part of that is Josh could play like absolute dog crap. All right? And Buffalo's not necessarily going to beat down on him to a point. If Aaron Rodgers has any bit of mediocrity in New York, the heat is going to be turned up. And like I said, he thought he got away with what he wanted to do, what he wanted to say, and how he wanted to act in Green Bay. You're not going to do that in the city of New York. They're coming after you. They're looking for the story. And God knows, we all know how bad and how nasty the New York media can be.
Absolutely.
And I tend to find Aaron Rodgers to be a sarcastic guy, but also a sensitive guy. So, therefore, I'm going to say that the pressure is on Aaron Rodgers simply or partly in due to the way he left Green Bay, a situation that I thought was actually a pretty cushy situation for him.
Yeah.
Okay? So, I think that the pressure is going to be on Aaron. And you don't only just have to try to dethrone the Buffalo Bills. You have to keep the Miami Dolphins at bay. You also have to worry about Bill Belichick and New England Patriots. They're never going to be a pushover. I don't see them being a playoff team, but they're not going to be a pushover. This right here, and Aaron Rodgers is what, 39 years old?
Yeah, 38, 39.
38,
Yep,
39
there.
years old. Out of his entire career, this may be the hardest time that he has had with inside his own division out of all his years of playing football. This ain't gonna be no.
This division real. This division real.
I haven't seen the AFC East this competitive or strong since the Colts and Peyton Manning were making their run, or were coming up from the ground. Okay, yep. I know a lot of you guys. Some of you guys are young, and you probably don't remember that.
They don't remember. They don't remember that loaded with them in before they made the South division. But yeah, it was loaded.
Yeah, I haven't seen the AFC East this competitive and this strong since that time period. So the Heat gonna be on Aaron Rodgers, and I don't think he looked particularly good last year, and I don't think he looked particularly good in the preseason. But we're going to see. So my vote goes to more pressure on Aaron Rodgers. It brings me to our next three-piece pack of questions tonight. Will the Jets assign Sauce Gardner to follow, shadow, whatever you want to call it, play man-to-man, stick Stephon Diggs all night? Do you think the Jets are going to do that because they didn't do it last year?
Absolutely. Primetime TV. Aaron Rodgers is playing. You got Dalvin Cook. You got all this going on. Absolutely. At least for one quarter. There he's going to definitely shadow him. They want to showcase him. They want to show him off.
You know, I got this feeling, right? I got this feeling they're not going to do it. I don't feel like they're going to do it. I was trying to find the stats from last year and try to find how many times they matched up, and I couldn't actually find how many times the matchup, but at the very least, I did find the targets. So, in their Week 9 matchup, Sauce had a 67.9 coverage grade against Stephon Diggs. Now, Stephon Diggs had one target. I guess there was one target for 42 yards. And at that very moment, I knew, and even going to his second year, Sauce Gardner is not the type of corner that you want manning Stephon Diggs. It's not there yet. It hasn't clicked yet. Not Steph. Steph is very different than some of the other top receivers. Okay? It hasn't clicked for him yet. Now, Robert Saleh may do it. I don't think he will, but he might. Because they have a lot of pride in DJ Reed too, who I think is a very good football player. But Steph's a different animal. He will eat you alive.
Steph he's a beast. If they do that, the other cornerbacks are gonna have a long day, JT.
Because you can't put him on the island with Stephon no safety help. So that's part of the reason I don't think they're going to do it, because if you tried it, you're going to leave everything else susceptible.
Yeah. Well, we got to contain Quinnen Williams, man. Are we going to see him doing this?
Yeah.
We got to keep him contained.
Hey, welcome to the NFL, Osiris Torrance. You're never allowed up a sack in college, and here you are, your first game. Lining up versus the, I think, $195 million man in Quinnen Williams. Best of luck to you.
Wait, time out. He didn't allow a sack in college?
No. No, at least not last year.
I did not know that.
Yeah, at least not last year.
Okay.
So, welcome to the NFL. So, you vote yes, you think that the Jets will sign Sauce Gardner or Stephon Diggs. I'm going to say no on this one. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. So, moving on to our last question of the night for our Checkers three-piece question, however you want to call it. Can you smell what's cooking? Now, obviously, in back-to-back years, the Cook brothers have faced off. Last year, James was not a starter. This year, he is. Dalvin's a starter. Dalvin hasn't played a preseason game. He still has a shoulder injury. Dalvin is looking to get busy. Who do you think is going to impact this game more? The All-Pro, Dalvin Cook, or the first-year starting back, younger brother, James Cook?
You know who I'm rolling with? I'm rolling with James Cook.
Okay.
I think he's going to have a big year. After what I've seen with him running the ball, JT, I think he's going to have a huge season, man. He looks very comfortable running in between the tackles. I think he's going to catch the ball out the backfield. I think Dalvin, they're going to still kind of sprinkle him in with him signing so late. But I think James Cook is going to act a fool on Monday Night Football. I got a feeling he's going to have a big day.
All right, so I'm going to go with, on this one, I don't know. I'm probably going to go with Dalvin. I'm going to go with Dalvin on this one here. And the only reason I'm going to go with this is because we don't know what the Jets' offense is going to be. We don't know if they're going to be pass heavy. We don't know if they're going to be run heavy. We know we have Dalvin. They got Breece Hall. There's been some questions about pass protection, especially on the edges for this team. So I think that Dalvin has the ability to affect this game, I think, a little bit more than younger brother. Because I think that the Jets may end up leaning on him because of the newness of Aaron Rodgers. I don't think that the Bills, not that they won't lean on Cook, they don't have to, which makes him even more dangerous.
Yep.
I agree with that. It makes him even more dangerous. They don't have to lean on him. But I think Dalvin's impact in this game is a little bit more because if the Jets can't find consistency in the pass game, they're going to have a major issue. There's no depth. And honestly, I think the receiving core is suspect, to be completely honest with you. Obviously, I know that Garrett Wilson is going to be an upcoming star, and I expect a breakout year from him. But McCole Hartman has proven to be inconsistent. Alan Lazard has proven to be inconsistent, and Randall Cobb is damn near pushing a Walker. Okay? So, and there's no tight end threat, really. So I think that Dalvin's impact in this game is going to be much more needed than what James could possibly bring.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense, but I think James Cook, after I see him in the preseason, JT, I think he's going to take off.
And I hope he does. I hope that he takes off. I hope Latavius Murray takes off. I hope Damian Harris takes off. I hope anybody that's toting that rock for the red and the blue takes off. So, J. Ray Cruz already put his score prediction in the chat. He thinks the Bills are going to win 31-17. Do you have a prediction for this game? Do you think that the Bills are going to win this game, or do you think the Jets may still win?
I do. I think they're going to win 34-24.
Okay. Why?
I think it's going to come down to we're going to click. That chemistry going to kick in. That's my opinion. I think the chemistry is going to kick in. I think we'll pull away. I think it'll be a nice little gap. I think they're going to fight to the end. They'll score a couple of last touchdowns, but I think at some point it'll probably like 34-14, 34-10, something like that, and they'll probably score a couple of late touchdowns. But my prediction is 34-24.
Let me ask you this question. How much of an impact do you think the lack of a preseason is going to play for either team?
I don't think it's going to be a huge impact in this game. I really don't. You're talking two quarterbacks who've been there, done that. Talking about some receivers that have been there, done that. I think it'll be fine. I don't think you'll see much of an impact in this game.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's gonna be fun. So, I think that as far as the preseason question goes, I feel like that it affects the Jets more than Buffalo. It's a lot of new pieces in that offense. The offensive line was still shuffling around. You got a new quarterback. Understanding his tendencies, understanding his receivers, and not without live game action. Obviously, we know they have Randall Cobb and Alan Lazard, two receivers that Aaron Rodgers has thrown to in Green Bay in the past. But I think that the chemistry of the offensive line, not knowing where Breece Hall is, where his recovery, not being able to see what Dalvin Cook's role is going to be. I think that the lack thereof of a preseason or preparedness to play in the preseason is going to affect the Jets more. So, I think if I had to give a prediction, I think the Bills will end up winning this game, but I'm going to say 28-24. I think that it may be a slow start. I think that this Jets defense is really good. I think this Bills defense getting back to full strength or close to full strength as possible is going to be a big difference. And I think year 3 Greg Rousseau is going to be a huge difference. We got a couple questions here. Let's see here. Let me pull off this banner really quick. All right, we have a question from my guy Ray Cruz. He said, has high injury been discussed his back? James, anything? What do you think? And just a little soreness, a little tightness? For Micah Hyde?
I don't think it's a big deal. I mean, they're going to mention it. I don't think it's a big deal. With Tyler Rapp as the backup, I'm not really tripping about that, to be honest. How you feel about it?
I'm not too worried about it. Obviously, Micah Hyde is still irreplaceable, in my opinion. But I don't think it's me. I don't think it's anything serious. I think that, just a little tightness, a little soreness, it'll be cleared up. I mean, obviously, we still got 5 days to go, so. Trying to think if there's any more questions here. I don't see any. So, James, calling you Josh, man. I'm already excited for the game. Any final thoughts?
Right. My final thoughts is I think it'll be a great game. I think the Jets will start fast, so Bills fans, don't panic. I think they're going to come out. They got to come out guns blazing. I think they'll probably come out faster than us. But when the game settles down, I think we'll start clicking, and that's when we'll start pulling away. They'll fight back at the end, but I think they'll start out faster than us. Ultimately, I think we'll pull away and handle business.
I hear that, and I think the same. I just think that I'm ready to see what this defense looks like. Pretty much, that's my final thoughts. I got a good idea what the offense is going to look like, but this defense is really what I want to see. What's the change between going from Leslie Frazier to Sean McDermott? A more attacking defense that they say supposedly they're going to have. Obviously, the boldness to not name the veteran as starting middle linebacker and to name the 6th round cornerback at starter at the number 2 cornerback spot. So I just ultimately feel that what the Jets defense brings to the table is going to be extremely important. And honestly, if the Bills could control the clock, I would say those are 2 things that I'm really looking for. So, other than that, man, that's pretty much it. I mean, I got nothing else tonight. It was a great show. Thank you guys for joining us. It's a lot easier to do these shows when football is actually really back. And remember, this show is brought to you by Checkers.
And lastly, before we close out, Rousseau, my prediction. Rousseau, 2.5 sacks.
Okay.
That's a bold prediction. What's your bold prediction?
I'm going to say Kincaid's going to have over 55 yards receiving.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, I'll see if Kincaid's going to have over 55 yards receiving. But other than that, people, that's our show for tonight. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for your questions. Make sure you tune in next time as well. And remember, it's nothing personal, just Buffalo. Listen, 5 more sleeps and football is here officially for us. Obviously, Lions and Chiefs tomorrow night. So if you're a big football fan, enjoy it. Enjoy us back. This is the best time of the year. So I'm your host, JTM. Got a co-host in the building, former NFL running back James Mallory. As always, thank you for tuning in and joining us. Peace.